into Kent through the day probably will. Now, as we go through the afternoon, you can see how it brightens up across the north of Scotland, but with the wind it will feel cool. Out towards the west we continue with the cloud and the combination of rain, sleet and snow. But the real action starts later on tonight. Initially, some heavy rain pours in across Northern Ireland, West Wales and also the southwest of England, but it doesn't have to move too far inland before we start to see some snow. Now that snow is going to be whipped up on strong winds, so there'll be some drifting of it too. It still will be very windy tomorrow, and as we go through the day, all this snow in the west will push over towards the east, crossing Kent, crossing London, getting in towards eastern areas. But it looks like the most atrocious conditions are going to be across Wales, parts of central southern England and the West Country, but we'll also probably see some snow across Northern Ireland as well. So expect disruption to your journey tomorrow. The Met Office has a lot of yellow warnings in force for the snow and also some amber ones. So the yellow ones generally means 2 to 5 centimetres of snow is quite possible. Locally, we could have up to 10 centimetres, whereas the amber is generally 5 to 10 centimetres of snow, locally up to about 15, but on the hills, we're looking at 25 centimetres. Now, having that blowing around won't be a pretty picture at all, Louise and Charlie.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere, Carol. You're staying here for the foreseeable future.
We're all going to be here for the weekend together.
We're not doomed at all, by the way.
Yes.
We're not.
Thanks, Carol. You wouldn't be doomed if you were stuck with us anyway.
8:20. What did you say? Doomed? Doomed to
Move
stay
on.
here. 8:21 is the time.
Today is the 30th anniversary of this programme. That's why Carol's here. It was first broadcast back in 1983. Since then,